Hello, this is Scott McLeod from Iowa State, Director of CASO. We're here at the Ucea convention. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Justin Bathon. I'm a professor at the University of Kentucky. I do education law, mostly. And a lot of technology, actually. We're a co-host of CASO, which is exciting.
Great. How's your conference going so far, Justin?
It's nice. This is a good hotel for the conference this year. There's a lot of eating opportunities that are very close. And we're in our own space. We're not interacting with the other conferences. That's very helpful. And so it's been a nice hotel.
Okay.
I mean, it was a rough flight out to Anaheim, but you deal with that.
That's right. I hear you're making 7-Eleven runs.
I make a 7-Eleven run every time when I first get here. Sometimes it's a Target, sometimes it's a Walgreens, but you gotta get the caffeine flowing throughout the conference.
That's right.
So cheap prices.
That's right. So what's something interesting that you've seen or heard so far at this conference?
I think one of the more interesting studies was a study of the education leadership faculty across the United States, which is interesting to me when we start compiling data across the U.S. I mean, we look at state by state from time to time, but very rarely do we look at the entire scope of the United States and what's happening in ed leadership. And so the Hackman and Mccarthy effort to look at faculty across the United States, that really is a really valuable component, and I think that's going to be in a book coming out in a year or so. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Okay. What's something fun or interesting that you're working on right now?
An interesting one that I presented here, I'm going to go present on state pension systems in like an hour, but that's incredibly boring, so I won't talk about that. But an interesting one that I'm doing here is we're looking at the elements of state data, state leadership data systems. So we look at state data systems a lot for student issues, and we even look at state data systems for teacher issues, but we rarely look at state data systems, the elements of those systems for principals and superintendents. So we did a study of the 16 Southern Regional Education Board states, and there's a heck of a lot of data there, so there's a lot of stuff for young researchers to tap into and do some cool dissertations on.
Okay.
That's sort of fun.
Last question. What do you think the future of ed leadership looks like? How will we be different?
How to say this politically? We will be a lot more online. I think that there's quite a few people, in fact, that didn't come to Anaheim this year. I think that's unfortunate. It's on the West Coast. We're in low budget times. Understand that. And so doing stuff like this, I think, is going to be more of what we start seeing at conferences and Skyping people in, stuff like that.
Okay.
We'll see that kind of stuff in the future, I'm certain.
Great. Thanks, Justin, for your time. Have a great conference.
Right on.